Okay, here we go. I'm gonna be Tom Brady. Touchdown. It's a 36-yard touchdown. Still letting us do this. Things are starting to pick up around here. Lots of important people walking around. So today's show is chock full of guests. In just a few moments, Terry Bradshaw is going to join us live in studio. Very exciting. Later, Peter Schrager makes his garbage time return. And we had so much fun with Brandon Marshall yesterday that we're bringing him back on for more. But first, guys, let's meet our amazing panel. To my left, Super Bowl champion and toughest Madden character of all time, Greg Jennings is back. Comedian, roaster, and Arthur Blank's dance instructor, Sarah Tiana. Radio host, TV analyst, and the man who shared an Uber with Josh Norman last night, Nick Wright. Oh. Is that an Uber X or an Uber XL? Uber Black?
Uber Black.
Oh,
we talked about Odell. Odell's my guy, so we smoothed it over. I think they're going to be on good terms.
Did you get in a fight in an Uber last night?
No, it's my guy. We can talk about it later.
All right. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's bring out our first guest. He's not as valuable to Fox as Cletus, but he does have 4 Super Bowl rings. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Bradshaw. What?
I don't like 2 ISBs.
Oh, I thought you said I hate you. I was like,
No.
Okay.
I would never say that.
So you might not know this, but you've had a huge impact on my broadcasting career, or put that in air quotes, because you came on Crowd Goes Wild, the now canceled show from when Fox launched, Fox Sports 1, and you had gum in your mouth when you were walking out to set. Someone said, Mr. Bradshaw, maybe get rid of the gum, and you stuck it on backstage, and so then someone put a label on it that said Terry Bradshaw's gum, and I would rub it every time before I went out for good luck.
For good luck?
Yeah, I mean, it was dry by then.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, and then
exactly.
When we got canceled, somebody scraped it off and framed it for me, and so now I have it on set back in New York.
Do you really?
Yeah. Is that
Bring it back. I probably didn't get all the sugar out of it.
I know.
Kind of warm it back up
I'll bring it back to you.
Yeah.
You can chew it back up. We were at dinner the other night. That's a name drop of a man next to me. We had dinner. It was about 75 other people there.
My wife is here, by the way.
There were 75 other people there.
That little blonde over there.
Hi. We had this interesting conversation that I really wanted you to talk about here. You were talking about how you think sometimes when people talk about football on TV, they talk over the heads of fans.
Exactly.
Yeah, tell them a little bit about...
Well, what happens, especially I think with young broadcasters, is that they come on and they forget they're talking to the viewer. Okay, this is our TV audience.
Yeah.
And we have our cameras there, and so they talk to the owners, the general managers, the players, and they forget that the reason they're up here, Greg knows this better than anybody, is that you're more than qualified to be here. Your performance as a player has given you an opportunity, whether or not you make, but you do get opportunities based on how well you played in the NFL. And then you'll keep that going if you can learn to talk to the audience as if you're talking to one of your friends and explaining things, not in a complicated manner, but in just a really common sense, not talk down, not talk over, talk to. And if you do that, the chances are you're going to have a successful career, because people then relate. Because the lens doesn't lie. It will capture your genuineness through the lens.
Yeah.
And it can tell if you're BSing and trying to be real smart. And guys that are trying to be real smart, you want to get rid of those guys. You got to be able to talk to your audience and treat them as human beings and not talk over them, but talk to them.
Yeah, we were having a conversation where you were like, I don't think there's a lot of terms you use that you think the audience doesn't know. Like, you're like, when I say, like, cover two, you're like, do you even know? Like, do you guys know? When you hear that, are you like, yay? Or are you like, I don't know?
Well, I think that's most men in here.
And women,
watching,
Terry.
No.
And women.
Let me finish before you criticize. Most men all come up to you and say, you know, I used to play a little ball. Yeah, you got my knee, got my ankle, got my foot, got my leg, got whatever. For whatever reason, that makes them feel like now we got something we can talk about, can share together. When in fact, you know, when you say cover two, and it's a habit you can get into. When I do highlights at Fox, I never say cover two, cover three, cover four, cover one. I may say blitz, and then I'll define the route that's being run and describe it to the viewer so they can see it. You know, here's how it happens. And hot zone. Everybody's in the hot zone. Hell, half these people don't know what hot zone is. And what it is,
that was my nickname in high school.
Yeah, oh my God. Oh, that's right. You're the funny one. I forgot about that. There you go. Yeah. But you talk like that gentleman sitting right there is like, yeah, man, hot zone cover too. And really and truthfully, you do talk, I think, more to women. Do women do know football? And I do think you talk more to women than you say. I don't say hot zone on television. I say inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
Or Howie will say something, he'll get real technical, and I'll ask Howie because even sometimes I'm a little lost on it, and I'll say, I will say it to Howie on the air. Hey, Howie, when you say, two gap, what is that what is two gap?
Yeah.
And then,
if I said that, I look like an idiot.
And Greg, so people, oh man, and they actually have just learned something. Two gap, inside, outside.
Oh, it's not Michael Strahan's teeth.
Oh, hey, touchdown! Touchdown! Hey, trust me, this is not set up question. The woman is just brilliant.
So yeah, one of the reasons we love you is because you do that. You help break it down in a way that people can understand. Another reason we love you is because you're a winner.
Winner.
You won a lot.
Yeah.
Won a lot.
A couple times.
Let's. Here's a hot take question for you. Better dynasty, your Steelers or Brady's Pats?
Oh. Okay. Now what's happening here is I'm going to be forced to take my Steelers because I got a whole group of 53 men that we fought together for all those years. And you tell any one of those guys, and we're all in our 60s, that we can't beat this bunch.
Right.
And they'll choke me. Joe Green, I see Joe Green enough to know. So I don't take a back seat to Montana's bunch, Elway's bunch, Brady's bunch. We can take all these boys down.
See what you did there?
Yeah.
Brady's bunch.
Oh, Brady's bunch. Oh.
He doesn't even realize how
I didn't realize. I am so quick-witted. So quick-witted.
Yeah, but you're undefeated. You've never lost the Super Bowl.
That's true.
We've only lost like 8 jobs to Strahan. Other than that, you've never lost anything.
That's true. That's funny too.
No, everybody loses jobs to Strahan.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it happens. Happened to Regis. Happens to anybody.
So she mentioned it 4-0 in the Super Bowls. When people look at like the all-time great quarterbacks, your resume matches up favorably to almost anybody. But all week we're hearing, who's the greatest quarterback ever? Is it Brady or is it Montana?
Right.
Some people say it. Does it bother you at all that people are like, oh yeah, and Terry Bradshaw, he's got 4 Super Bowls, he's a Hall of Famer. Does it bother you at all that your name it's not like, hey, is Brady trying to pass Terry Bradshaw? Like, you don't seem to be there in the conversation.
Well, it used to, but fans, writers, we're so in today's football, or the last 20 years, 25 years, when the game has changed to become such a passing football game, we're all locked in with social media and all this stuff, and we're all about basically from the Montana era on. Every record Montana broke in the Super Bowl, those were my records, most of them. I still own some records that nobody's touched, but I had a reputation of I didn't throw for a lot of yardage. I had 212 touchdown passes, 210 interceptions. Not real remarkable. I think my what do you call that? QBR? My QBR is like 72. Horrible. My completion percentage for the career was 52%. And nowadays, if you're not 70%, you're pretty much going to get cut.
Stop doing this. You're an amazing quarterback.
You put all of that together. Right. When I understood it, it didn't bother me because really, I'll sit up here with Tom and Joe and Peyton, Eli, and any of them, and let's just roll the rings on the table, and I make a
Damn right.
Mine make a lot of noise. So I don't take a back seat to any of these guys.
No, you
at
don't.
all. Why should I?
And no, you don't. And you were saying before, you think quarterbacks are overrated now.
No, I don't think that they're overrated.
Okay, sorry, I put a hot take in his mouth. Let him
just
explain.
put a hot take in my mouth. That is not what I said. But it's great that I have this luxury to even ask you this question, because you were talking about just talking over the head of fans and viewers. Do you think quarterbacks get too much credit? And here's my angle. No, well, give me a second. When there's a missed assignment or a missed ME, which for those of you who don't
Way to talk
know
over our heads,
No,
Craig.
no, I'm going to explain it. I just got coached. ME is a mental error. It tends to always go to the guy who has less experience if the quarterback is the guy. Like, for instance, in the Super Bowl, if one of the wide receivers or Tom Brady, they're off, they don't run the route, or he throws it over their head, it's typically going to go to the side of, well, Edelman wasn't on the same page as Brady.
Mm-hmm. Hogan screwed up.
Exactly. That's my question now to you. Do quarterbacks get too much credit because they make mental errors and mental mistakes?
The most important job is the quarterback job. You cannot run the offenses today without a great quarterback. That's why everybody in the world is trying to find the next great Tom Brady, the next Aaron Rodgers. They're trying to find these phenomenal quarterbacks, and you stumble on them. Mm-hmm. Greg, you stumbled on Dak Prescott in Dallas. That's a fourth rounder. Dallas didn't want this kid. They were dying for Lynch in Memphis.
Right.
That's the guy they wanted. They did everything to get him. They couldn't. Finally, we'll take Prescott. He was the MVP in the Senior Bowl, and lo and behold, look, he's probably, look how wonderful he's turned out. Montana, fourth round pick. Brady, sixth round pick. Yeah. He wasn't even the first pick in the sixth round. He's 199. So I say, when you have a great quarterback, my answer to you would be, he is not the one making the mistake. A great quarterback. I don't think it's him at all.
Really?
Guys read it. Receivers run routes. They run read routes where they read, they're crossing. There's somebody, they sit it down at zone. Or if they picked up this man, they keep it going. It's so much. You and I have got to be on the same page. Absolutely. You and I got to, blitz has come and you don't see the blitz and I see and I throw a pick and I got to go to the sideline. I'm not going to say anything to you because that's not my job. My job, I'm never going to say anything to you.
I got one for you.
I never will ever criticize a player.
So I got one for you really quick.
What?
I'm a rookie. I'm playing with Hall of Famer Brett Favre.
Right.
Best texter in the world.
We're in the huddle. We're in the huddle. We're in the huddle.
Give it a sec. Give it a second.
We're in the huddle, and he says, it's all go special. He tells me, Greg, lock your route, just run past him. He tells me this in the huddle.
Right.
It's Thursday night football, where it's a close game. We're playing the Vikings. Snap the ball. He throws the hitch instead of the go. And I'm rolling.
You're rolling.
You're
I'm rolling.
Oh.
Every comment, all I'm thinking when I'm running back to the
broke
side.
the route.
Now it's a pick six.
Oh no!
All I'm knowing and all I'm believing is everybody thinks it's my fault.
Yeah.
My quarterback tells me to go. I do what my quarterback tells me to do. Yeah. But because he's Brett Favre and I'm a rookie, it's my fault.
He apologized to you?
And he didn't say anything.
No.
He didn't say anything.
What about after the game?
After the game, in the meeting, he let it be known because you know how coaches are going to jump on a rookie. Greg, what were you thinking? And Brett said, that was my fault. I told him to go. But I'm like, thank you now, but you know,
I
damn.
know.
Didn't help.
Yeah.
In my 12 years, I never criticized a player ever. Ever. Not
That's
one
impressive.
time. I never yelled at a player. Ever. And the only time I ever raised my voice to one player was on Monday night against Dallas, and Mike Webster saw the game clock going down, and he didn't think I could see it. I'm killing the clock. Tried to run out. We got the game won. He jumped up and called timeout.
No.
And that's the only time I said, what the hell are you doing? I saw that. I didn't think you saw it. I didn't think you saw it. And that was the only time. That was the only time
Right.
ever. Because I made more mistakes than anybody. So I went about to it. I take it. And I found out that the more I take on myself in defense of our football team, that the more that they cared and loved me.
Absolutely.
And I always took the high road and took it because I felt like I could. And plus, my first 5 years in the league were so bad. I'm so stupid, he's dumb. Well, hell, they expect these mistakes. And so by then you got used to it. And I saw no sense in a guy's already feeling bad.
Yeah.
Why are you going to get on
And
his case
you're
anymore?
just like that on the broadcast team, too. That's why you're so good. You guys are a team.
Yeah. We
you help
are.
each other out. You lift each other
These are
up.
bad chairs, by the way.
Yeah, it's rolling away. It's also
I'm sliding
a million
out.
degrees in the studio, so. Terry.
Well, you got some hot wind here.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Oh, that's you're supposed to say that. Come on.
That's my job, the hot wind.
Terry, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
Good luck with everything this weekend.
Thank
I
you so
figured
much.
because your gum is my good luck, in case you wanted for this
here.
weekend, I just was, no, for
Oh,
you.
no,
I'm gonna give you-
you're going to chip for me.
Yeah. You just take that with you, okay?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you keep that with you.
Okay, good.
Terry Bradshaw!
Thank you.
Coming up, hop on board closer. Going to Schrager Town. Peter Schrager makes his triumphant return. There he is now in the Barbershop Super Bowl practice field, presented by Good Morning Football. In the Knocker Ball. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to Garbage Time Live and the Super Bowl. We've been having a great week, guys, but there's one place we have not gone yet this week, and it just doesn't feel right. I think I hear the train. We're going to Schrager Town.
Ride right off into the sunset.
But do you hear what's the...
They're ready, they're committed. The playmaker, he's big on you. Had a vasectomy, didn't work, that's the story.
Schrager Town.
You too is poor.
And I'll give you some bacon.
That sounds amazing.
Schrager Town.
The fans that are here are passionate. It's gonna be rich. I am kissing Ryan Fitzpatrick's feet, and there it was.
Schrager Town.
I like her. I thought that was pretty creative. I say don't pace yourself. Do another shot. I feel like I left more on the field.
Schrager Town.
These guys are great. Tweet. I like her. Had a vasectomy. The playmaker. I love you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest working man in show business, Peter Schrager. They cued you too early, my friend. They cued you too early. So that was a super cut of everything you said last year.
We're going to do a montage.
Yeah, with a little bit of Schrager Town.
Remix.
We miss you.
Yeah, I miss you.
I
You're
miss
great.
you. You're
How about
great.
this crew? How about this
they're
crowd?
fantastic. I was saying before that if I had to replace you for this year because you're so busy with Good Morning Football, it should be a testament to you that I need 3 people.
Yeah, and one with
To
a
make
giant
it
Super Bowl
one.
ring, one a comedian superstar, and Nick Wright, who might be the most opinionated guy in America. Right?
Yeah, that is true. Don't clap for them. They suck. Give me some hot takes. You got anything?
No hot takes. I just
Come
gotta
on.
tell you, Katie, I'm in Atlanta for like week 10, okay? And I'm doing the sidelines for a Fox game, and I walk into the production meeting room, and you get to meet with the coach and the quarterback, and Matt Ryan comes in. I've met him a million times before. Matt Ryan looks me right in the eyes and goes, Katie Nolan show. He remembered it completely, because last year we did a bit where we had him drink Natty Ice, but we called it Matty Ice. So
Get
he was
it? Do you
drinking.
get it?
And you tell me, did you think Matt Ryan was gonna chug a beer?
No.
Matt Ryan takes the beer, Natty Ice, and just chugs it right there.
Yeah.
He had the best time, and the best part was, at the end of it, I'm like, all right, we'll see you Super Bowl week this year. And he looked at me, week 10, and he's like, not this year, baby. Because he's gonna be playing in the Super Bowl next year. So,
Because of the beer. So you're saying I'm responsible for Matt Ryan turning his season around.
I'm just saying, Matt Ryan, Katie Nolan, it's a thing that is a very
Well,
good
it's not
thing.
like he's married.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like
Sarah's
a
his
thing.
wife, it's all good.
It's not a thing.
Let me ask you,
but
when
it's
you
like a
saw
thing.
him, was he wearing a shirt or was he just like...
He looked great. I mean,
Hanging
I just
out.
feel like there's this feeling like he's like too vanilla, too granola. He's kind of cool. Like, he's kind of cool, right? Like,
I gave him that beer. I put it in front of him, and just TV, like it was live TV. My first time, like first week doing it. I put it in front of him. I cracked mine open, and I was like, had you opened it, he would drink it, but you didn't open it, and he, like you said, he picked it up, cracked it, and drank it.
we don't know who's a sponsor, what's up.
Yeah,
He's like,
did
"Let's
not
go for
care. It was
let's
like
do
fine. And you hear Schrager go, he's gonna do it! Yeah, there it is.
There it
Like,
is. Here's
oh my
Matt
God,
Ryan.
he just drinks it,
Falcons
and now,
logo, like there's alcohol. We don't know. Like, all right, natural ice.
yeah, and now he drinks it, and now he's good. So you're welcome,
I'm just sitting
Atlanta.
back there, and he went for it, and he opens it, and yeah,
Shrek.
that was it.
It worked. Anyway, we're VOing the same thing.
Shrikes. Matt Ryan, all right, so he's got more passing yards than any quarterback ever through 9 seasons.
Okay.
He's going to win the MVP this year.
Yeah.
If they win the Super Bowl, he's in the Hall of Fame. Every quarterback ever that's got an MVP and a Super Bowl championship, forget if they happen in the same season, is in the Hall of Fame. Like, this guy somehow, when you guys were interviewing him,
Yeah.
you guys didn't say this to him because you're kind people, but like the idea of Matt Ryan was, he's like
Oh,
kind
sure.
of been a disappointment.
Sure.
Like, and now he's 1 win away from a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Like,
You know-
that's what he's playing for.
This team, not even just Matt Ryan, it's like we have this Mount Rushmore of, Roethlisberger and Brady and Peyton and Rodgers and all these guys. And it was
Terry
almost
Bradshaw.
like Terry Bradshaw. But it's current day quarterbacks. You never think of Ryan in that conversation. But the numbers tell a story. The fact of the matter is they haven't gotten it done. And I've said this a few times, but I feel like this team is like your college girlfriend. You're going back to your hometown. They've been on primetime just twice this season. One of them was against the Trump and Clinton debate. No one's seen them. And so they're finally on the big stage. I'm like, you got to be good. Like, I've been talking you up. No one's seen you. You need to perform. And guess what? In front of the parents, in front of the hometown, they were amazing. They were putting dishes in the dishwasher. They were giving, like, a nice bottle of wine to your mother. Like, they just passed with shining colors. And now it's the biggest of stages. And Nick, to your point, you've got this Olympus of quarterbacks. If he wins, it's almost like Joe Flacco that year, where it's just like, let me just barge through the door, and you can't question me. And I wonder if Monday morning we wake up and we look back on this season, we're like, oh my God, was that the best quarterback season we've ever seen? And was Matt Ryan the guy who did it? And we don't realize it till after the fact.
Yes.
So
I hope you're saying that.
So he has to do nothing else after this
Nothing
year.
else. No, if you have an MVP and a Super Bowl championship and you're a quarterback, you get in the Hall of Fame. Like, I didn't make the rules.
Kurt
but
Warner
those
is
are
not in the
rules.
Hall of Fame, and he's got all those things. Is he not better than Kurt Warner? Is he better than Kurt Warner
Kurt
right now?
Warner's the last guy, by the way, to win a Super Bowl and an MVP as a quarterback in the same season. The last 6 guys who were MVP winners. And I know he hasn't technically
Guys,
won the
save
award
this for
yet.
Undisputed.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Let me ask a question, though. Do you think Tom Brady gets in?
No chance. No chance. I mean, if
I
he,
just wanna write these
if he
things down. I
loses
just wanna
this
make
one,
sure.
there's no chance he's in. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anywho, Schrager, you feel really strongly about who's winning the Super Bowl. I'm assuming
Yeah,
it's the Patriots.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, they're the favorite. I'm going Atlanta.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You don't, Greg, I don't know Falcons fans. Like, there are a few, like Rembert's gonna come on. He's a Falcons fan. Sarah's a Falcons. Like, there are Falcons fans, but it's not like you go to a game and there's just a horde of Falcons fans. And this year, Atlanta's having like a moment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a hip hop fan. Hello, not a hip hop fan. Not a huge, but Migos and Gucci Mane and Future, and then you look at TV, ATL is the #1 show.
Yeah.
And now you've got this team in a new stadium, and it's like a moment for Atlanta. And let's not ignore it. Let's just embrace it and enjoy it, because that's a pretty cool city. Pretty cool people.
You listen to Childish Gambino? Is that like what you're into?
Big Donald Glover guy.
Yeah?
I got that. How was that, right?
Did?
That was
I was
good.
like, somebody feed it to him. So you were saying you covered 5 Falcons games.
Yeah.
So you got to know their culture
Yeah,
pretty
and
well.
that's a word that's thrown out way too much, right? Culture.
Yes,
and-
like, what's the locker room feel?
Yeah, and I'm a
What's the
cynical New Yorker,
vibe?
so when I see brotherhood on a T-shirt, I'm like, oh my God. Like, or I see family. I'm like, okay, I get it, dude.
Same thing like when I see Sunday Fun Day. I'm like, don't.
I'm good. Like,
Do you only wear that on Sundays?
yeah, what about Saturday? Anyway, so, it's this team, and I'm like, all right, I hear all the cliches. They come from the Pete Carroll camp, the competition Tuesdays, all this stuff. 7 a.m., I'm in their building. I'm in their facility. We're doing a production meeting later in the day. And all of a sudden, I hear these lockers, like, rattling. And then Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name Of comes on.
It's a good one.
And all these guys are screaming. And then there's another song, it's Snoop and Dre, and they come on, and they're going nuts. And I look to their PR guy, I'm like, what's going on? This is not normal. He says, every morning, Dan Quinn puts them in the meeting room, and he picks one random guy on offense, one random guy on defense, and they have a competition in front of the rest of the team. And if the losing guy is the part of that unit, they're going to run gassers the first 20 minutes of practice.
Oh.
So it's all competition, unit versus unit, offense versus defense, and they breathe on it. So I would say all that stuff is cliche, but they bought in. And it doesn't matter if we buy in.
Yeah.
They bought in. So I think the Falcons on Sunday are going to show up, and they're going to buy in again.
I hope not. DQ's a big, like UFC guy, right? Like, he's a big fight sports guy.
He's a
so that
Jersey
makes sense.
guy.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn's from New Jersey.
That
That's
covers
all you need to
that.
know.
Yeah, he's bridging tunnel. He's
B&T.
bridging. If I get that
It's
you're
Morristown.
I get that you're all in on the Falcons, but like, if you had to, like, I don't know, like, find like one reason the Pats could like win, what would it be?
For one reason.
Just
Everyone's
one.
saying number 12, right? Everyone loves Brady, and everyone's really going big on Kyle Shanahan, but I think Josh McDaniels might be the most offensive genius in the entire league. And this is a guy who put on a game plan with Jacoby Brissett as quarterback, and they shut out the Texans 27-0 on a Thursday night. Sorry, guys. Playing to the audience. And then you had Jimmy Garoppolo do all those things, and McDaniels finds a way. So if you're going to take away Gronk, they haven't lost since. If you're going to take away Edelman, we'll beat you with Hogan. If we beat you with Hogan, we'll beat you with LeGarrette Blount. I can go on and on. Josh McDaniels is that dude. He didn't want a head coaching job this year. There were a lot offered. There were a lot of companies. He's like, you know what? I'm good. Let's stick with these guys. He is the wild card. I think he might put on an even better offensive game plan than Shanahan.
But how is he with his backpack? Does he know where he left
Weird
it?
deal,
Does
right?
he keep it with him at all times?
Is that not weird? And the story was Art Spander, a 78-year-old sports writer,
Thank
accidentally
God.
picked it up,
But
right?
thank God it was that guy.
But you know what's funny? I'm getting tweets the next morning, people being like, oh, Belichick did it again.
Yeah.
We had that conversation.
Found a way.
I know. I heard 78-year-old, and I was like, I didn't know Belichick was 78. I was way younger than that.
Does anyone else want to ask Schrager anything before we let him go?
Yeah, just on the Pats angle, Dion Lewis is a name like no one's talking about this week. Since the start of last year, they're 16-0 when he plays. They score 32 points a game when he plays. Like the way that matchup, it's kind of football nerdy. I apologize.
I love
like
football
him
nerdy.
coming out of the backfield. Do you think the Falcons, like linebackers, the guys that can match up with him, have the speed? Because I see like Dion Lewis wheel route. That's why Texans
That's what
fans
happened
saw it.
there, yeah.
Exactly. Like that, to me, that's a huge part of the game. Everyone saw Julio, and I think that's a huge factor.
I think the beauty of it, Nick, is that it could be, but it also might not be, right? Like Jonas Gray ran for 200 yards and didn't play the next game. Like that's what Belichick does. Like, sorry, and then you're out. Like LeGarrette Blount could get 7 carries in the first 2 drives, or he might not see the field. That's the scary part about the Patriots. You have no idea. So yeah, could Dion Lewis be the guy? Sure. James Devlin could be the guy. I have no idea. And if I am Dan Quinn and the Falcons, I'm worried and I'm sick of knowing that that might happen.
Yeah, I hope it does.
Good luck.
Sorry, I'm a Patriots fan. I really hope it does.
Okay,
Schrager,
don't be
thank
sad.
you for coming
Love
back.
coming on. You guys are awesome.
We miss
Good.
you
Thank
so
you.
much. Come back
This was
whenever
fun.
you want to. We only got one more show, but just like hang out.
I will. I'll get in those balls. That was it. No.
Okay. Coming up, more Garbage Time live from Houston. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Garbage Time live from Houston. Brandon Marshall's still to come, guys. But first, this week, much to Greg Jennings' surprise, Michael Vick cordially invited the world to his official retirement party right here in Houston on the eve of the Super Bowl. It's not controversial. The event will be co-hosted by none other than rapper Gucci Mane. Greg's definitely going. I didn't know he hadn't retired, is kind of what's interesting. So this got us thinking, who even knows who's retired anymore? So we're gonna play our brand new favorite game, Retired or Not Retired. The guy who comes up with the names for our games was fired or not fired. Okay, here we go. First one. I'm gonna read you a name. You've got paddles in front of you. On the count of 3, you're gonna put up what you think. It's a split-second decision. Okay? First name. Reggie Bush, retired or not retired? 3, 2, 1, go. Shut up! Shut up! Everybody says not retired. That's right. Let's look at the answer. He's not retired. He put up -2 rushing yards this season, though.
Yeah, he
So
probably, I mean,
maybe we
Get back with the Kardashians.
Yeah.
That's when he
no,
was
he
good.
probably has
Maybe
more
we-
carries with luggage than he does carrying the football.
They're booing over your really good joke. Good job, guys.
I don't
You
thank you
missed
guys.
it.
Yeah.
He said he probably has more carries with luggage. Okay. Next name. D'Brickashaw Ferguson, retired or not retired? Go.
Never heard of him.
Looks like everyone says retired. Let's find out. Is D'Brickashaw Ferguson retired? He is. This is going well. This is
That was a
going well. It's
complete
almost
guess.
like you guys may have studied or something.
I don't even know that guy's name. I've never even heard of that guy.
You've never heard of D'Brickashaw?
Draft of 2006.
Oh, okay, Steph.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Matt Flynn, retired or not retired?
Whoa,
Go.
Matt
Flynn, go. Okay, oh, we've got some discrepancy. Let's find out. Is Matt Flynn retired? Not retired! Not retired!
Sorry, man, I didn't know.
Well, you
Okay, here we go.
drafted, genius.
Jared Allen, retired or not retired?
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay. Jared Allen, is he retired?
I mean, he sent the photo.
Gotta be
of-
retired.
Is he retired?
He's retired.
folks?
He's done.
It's gotta be.
Carolina.
Retired! Nick, you're
that's
winning right
Jared
now. Let's see if
Allen.
you can go, if you can be undefeated. Last one. Greg Jennings, retired or not retired? Go!
Actually, I'm not retired.
Hold on.
Breaking news, folks.
I mean, I have a job, don't I?
Yeah, right. You need to retire from broadcasting.
I was like, he's coming back. He's not retired.
That messed
Or he's
everybody up.
Yeah, you guys are really
All right, folks, coming up, more Garbage Time live from Houston. We got Brandon Marshall coming up. Don't go anywhere, okay, guys? Brandon Marshall, not retired. Not retired. Hi there. Welcome back to Garbage Time live in Houston. I'm still joined by my phenomenal panel, Greg Jennings, Tiana, and Nick Wright. Let's go ahead and add one more in this empty seat next to me. Jets wide receiver and former Garbage Time panelist, Brandon Marshall.
Watch yourself. I couldn't even touch it. Watch yourself.
He goes to pound him. He's like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah,
what's
no.
that? What's that? Thank you
have
for
to
coming
show up.
back. You were
Thanks
here
for having
yesterday.
me.
We had a blast, but we didn't really get to talk to you about
Yeah.
you stuff.
Yes.
And everybody who knows me knows I love this man. But first, you're here. Let's tell me what you're doing with AT&T's Audience Sports.
A lot.
Okay, good. That's the plug, right?
Yes, a
Next
lot.
question.
We're covering the festivities of the Super Bowl. And people don't understand that there's so much that goes on. So we're trying to capture everything, built up content, and push it out on DirecTV Now, and AT&T's Uverse. I mean, if that's too much for them, they can follow us on our social handles and Twitter and Instagram, like us on Facebook at Audience Sports.
You're doing more than I am.
No
I
one
just do
does
this,
more than you.
and then I go to bed.
No one does more than Katie.
We had an interesting conversation yesterday that we didn't get to in the show, but we had it in our production meeting. We were talking about the NFL players and social responsibility.
Yeah.
You've been a really outspoken guy on things like mental health awareness, which I think is super important and something that doesn't get talked about enough. I know that you agree. But we were talking more specifically about right now, the political climate, Tom Brady and Belichick being asked questions about Trump, and you had an interesting take on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was opening day of Media Day, and Tom Brady sitting there, and of course, it's an interesting time in our country with Donald Trump being in office now, and they asked him about his relationship, and then the response was that is a lot of people tried to crush him. Why is that, right? If I ask probably 90% of this room, you know, are they a Democrat, are they Republican? They're gonna say, oh, that's off limits. That's like asking a woman her age, right? That's a no-no.
30.
How much money do you have in your bank account? But when you're an athlete, there's an expectation there that I think is unfair. For me, you just talked about mental health. I'm comfortable talking about mental health. And because I'm an athlete, I don't think that we should be pressured into talking about politics or finances or different religion if that's not our thing. And I just would love for us to change the narrative in the media.
Hold on, though. Like, it's not fair to pester Belichick about this, because he has not asked for any of it. His private conversations with the president
Well, he wrote
are
him a
his
letter.
private conversations. But that's private. The only entry point to Tom Brady's off-the-field life we have is his locker. Guys put things in their locker purposefully.
Yeah.
He chose to put a Make America Great Again hat in his locker. It wasn't the paparazzi that caught him wearing it. When you make that decision, You can't then retreat to, oh, I'm not a political guy, I don't know what's going on, I'm just focused on football. Once you do that, you are now someone. It'd be just as absurd as you being like, why you ask me about mental health?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I know I'm wearing this shirt. I know I wear. So like Brady.
Can I get the image of Nick is wrong?
Yeah.
Do we have that? Can we put that up? Nick is wrong. And this is why you're wrong.
Okay.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. Because our locker is off limits.
No, but
It's
you're
as simple
standing
as
in
that.
front of it.
If you go
I
to
mean,
Greg's
I know
locker,
it's
if you go into Greg's locker, I'm sure you're going to see pictures of all his kids, his wife. And we don't expect people to come in and start filming and dissecting our locker. To us, that's off limits. And that's where you're wrong on that point. But if Tom Brady comes out and he publicly says some things, then I think that it's fair for the media and the other members to say, okay, well, the follow-up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will interject there too. Yeah, the locker is off limits. It's our personal space. It's our only personal space within that locker room. So it's sacred to us, and every player is going to have something that's meaningful to them, regardless of what that is in their locker. But I'm one that feels
And
like
Trump
this.
knows this, right? It's locker room talk. That's what he called it. It's locker room talk.
Absolutely.
It's off limits.
So I'm one that also feels like this. To whom much is given, much is required. So when it comes to a social platform, and for us as athletes, do we have one? Yes. Do I want everyone speaking for me on my behalf? No. Like you just alluded to, everyone's not educated, everyone's not comfortable. And when it comes to this week, yes, that is off limits. He's not here to talk about politics.
Let me ask
He's
you
not
as
here-
players, because this is like where I think you're going. There's often they'll say things like, well, I'm focused on the Super Bowl right now. I'm just thinking about football. Is that the case? Are you in a bubble? Or is that an excuse of course they see the news. Of course they know what's going on.
Yeah, it's in my humble opinion, and again, this is my opinion, when you're in this league, we are in this bubble, and you can speak to this too. Everything we want to think, want to believe, they push football. Everything outside of that football arena, that organization, that locker room, it's almost like make sure you steer clear of all of that.
Yeah.
As if there's no world that's evolving around us.
Basically, what they say, like he's trying to take the diplomatic route, they say, this is who you are and stick to that. And you're a
Absolutely.
football player.
Yeah.
And we gotta, I think we're starting to see more people taking a counterculture approach. And I think that's a great thing. That's a healthy thing. And Greg was one of those guys. That's why him and I, we played on a couple teams. No, he's a Super Bowl champion.
I don't know if you saw this guy here.
Yeah.
Just in case you
Keeps
did.
it in his locker. It's tough, right? Because you want some athletes to be able to speak up on things and be taken seriously. Because there's a narrative sometimes that, athletes don't know what they're talking about. And then all of a sudden you're being asked to and expected to know what you're talking about on everything the media wants to know. Do you feel like that's a double standard?
Yes. I mean, but again, like I just tell our younger guys, just because this is going on in our country doesn't mean that you have to talk about it. If you're comfortable talking about it, then talk about it. But you don't have to.
Let me ask you this, though. If you're not comfortable talking about it, is it safer to just have Brent Grimes' wife tweet about it?
You can laugh at it. She's being funny. Everyone's like, oh.
Listen,
Have you never read her tweet? They're disgusting.
Brandon, you're right. It's everyone's own personal decision. Fine, get it. But what's also true is this. If you have a position of influence, if you have a platform, and you believe, and I'm not saying Brady or these guys actually believe this, but I know some of them do, and you believe there are things going on in our society that are unjust, that are denying the full citizenship and equal protection under the law, and you do not use that platform, history will judge you accordingly.
Okay,
so
let me clarify. But let me clarify. I will say this. What I'm saying is, see, I'm one of those guys that are outspoken, and I believe in what I believe in, right? And I'm going to speak on those things. And I think that everyone have different platforms and different missions, and they should stick to that.
Right, but
there
we
are
can't-
hold on, but there are things that supersedes it, like social injustice.
Right.
Social injustice is a cause for all of us to stand up and fight for.
Bingo.
But
And so we can't, hold on though.
but if an athlete, something happened today, And then you go to a 22-year-old who has no clue. Oh, he just left a dormitory. And then you go and say, what do you think about Donald Trump hiring blah, blah, blah for Secretary of State? He doesn't even know who a Secretary of State is. And then we judge him because he doesn't know and he's not informed.
I agree with you, but there's two pieces of this pie. We cannot act like all the guys who are not saying anything aren't informed. Some of them are just cowards. Some of them are totally informed, and they're just protecting their money. And you know what?
That's fair.
Good for you, man. But we will know as things go on. So like, that just if guys can make their own decisions, they want to protect their endorsements. They don't want people to know their politics. They don't care. I ain't got no Muslim family, so whatever. Like, that's fine. That can be whomever you want to be.
Yeah.
But for the faces of the league, for some of the most important people in the league. Like Aaron Rodgers, about a year ago, spoke out because he thought it was an injustice. For a guy like me, got a lot more respect for him after that.
Yeah.
But so just to get someone's respect from you, that means they have to speak out because they're in a position of influence. Everyone doesn't have to say anything. Just because I am who I am, if I choose to keep my mouth shut, that's my prerogative. That's what I want to do. But there is a double standard. It really is, to your question. Why? Because if I say something, when I look at every social platform, every social media outlet, it's you should stick to what you know. But then if I don't say anything, then it's why aren't our athletes speaking up? Why aren't they the ones that, because they have the realm of influence, they have this platform, they have an audience, they should be the ones that are being the voice of reason, if you will. That's not, it's a double standard because the moment we speak on it, it's, oh, well, we didn't really ask you on that. Stick to your profession. Stick to your vein of what you are good at.
Yeah.
And reality is, if you really want to know what I'm good at, I'm a man, I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm all these other things than what you think I am. So it really doesn't matter if I choose to speak on parenting or being a brother or whatever, my faith. It doesn't matter if I choose to speak on it or if I doesn't. That doesn't make me a coward. That doesn't make me less than. That doesn't mean I'm not doing my part.
Preach.
And it could also mean you want to learn more before you speak on it. You said yesterday when we were talking about marijuana as opposed, like, as an alternative to painkillers, and you said, I'm really interested, but I don't know enough yet. Like, I want to learn about it in the off season. And I feel like we don't often let people say, I know this is a topic people care about, but I'm respectfully going to say I don't know enough, and please let me learn, and then I'll come back when I have something to say.
Yeah, I was just on the radio, and the guy asked me about the NFL ratings being down at the beginning of the year, and I said, it's okay. You do know it's okay for me to say, I don't know anything about that.
Right.
Like, literally, I just don't know. I don't have to make up an answer for you. Sometimes you don't know is the best answer.
We were supposed to ask you so many other things that we didn't get to, so let me just ask you real quick. Romo, Garoppolo, or Cutler, who would you rather have as your quarterback?
Ooh. Answer this.
Yeah, you want me to know? I'm gonna let Greg answer because you know.
I know you're retired. You're retired from being the GM.
Look, you trying to set me up?
I know. Which one of these three?
Well, I'm going to give it to you like this.
I'm gonna let Greg answer for me.
I say Romo, and here's why I say Romo. Because he's proven. And you've been playing for a long time. And I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo isn't going to be a great quarterback in this league. You played with Cutler. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
You had a great relationship with him as far as on the field.
Still
I don't know
a
what
good
your relationship is off the field. But Romo will get you that ball. Romo will make
He's
that team
retired
better.
from picking quarterbacks.
I'm not asking you to say anything.
Okay.
I am.
I'm telling
You're
you right
killing
now.
it for me.
If you want to win right now, your best.
I want to win right now.
Romo.
Garbage Time with Greg Jennings. We'll be right back. Coming up, we'll be right back. Don't leave.
That's when Katie and I decided we'd be better as friends. Oh, hey, coming up on our show, what will we drop from our crane today, and can Dan and I catch it in our mouths?
Plus, Drew Brees will face his toughest challenge, cockroaches. And Chief Safety Eric Berry and Tony Gonzalez, they will be here. That's next on Fox Sports Live. Katie, wrap it up.
Welcome back to Garbage Time, guys. Thank you, Jay and Dan. And Jay, I saw you walk by the set. Nice try, Jay. We're running out of time in the show, but it wouldn't be Super Bowl week unless we tried to do this Nick Wrong segment and ran out of time. So here we go. What did you do now, Nick?
No idea. It's believable that before we figured out the technology for, a cordless phone, We put people in a rocket, sent into space, landed on a spinning rock thousands of miles away, brought it back just around the time we needed that type of propaganda to help beat the Russians. Like, oh yeah, let's believe that story.
I'm Nick Wright, and these are just the facts.
Yeah, that's right. Nick Wright doesn't think we landed on the moon. Roast him, Sarah Tiana.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't believe we landed on the moon, but he does believe that wrestling is real. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. He's never faked anything. How would he know? I just never want to hear the words Nick Wright and moon.
That's all the time we got today, guys. Thanks so much to Terry Bradshaw, Peter Schrager.